Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
And welcome back. It is a special playoff edition of the Green Turtles Ravens Wrap Show, broadcasting here from the Blue Ox, 127th Street Coastal Highway in Ocean City, here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, 93.5 The Beach. Want to thank our sponsors, of course, the original Green Turtle, the Blue Ox Bar and Grill. We've got our friends at Bud Light, FlyLady.net, the Ocean City Golf Club, G&G Outfitters, Ravens247.com, the Comfort Inn Gold Coast, and JCTickets.net. Mike Bradley, Tony Lombardi, and John Gehrig. And guys, let's give out our grades of the team as we wrap up 12-4, second straight year for the Ravens. I guess we'll go down the list, and I'll start a quarterback for me. I'll give Joe Flacco, and we'll get into Joe a little bit later. I'd like to maybe even take a segment or half a segment to talk about him. I gave him a B-.
That's the grade I gave him, a B- also. I think there were signs there that, the thing that I think frustrates most people with Flacco is inconsistency. Mm-hmm. And I would think that if you knew you were going to get a consistently, not even have to be good, I mean great, but good Joe, consistently good Joe, there's no time where this team can go. But the inconsistency brings it down to a B-, and I think the numbers suggest that too.
That's why I give him a C. Because he's just, hey, timeout. A is excellent, B is good, and C is satisfactory, all right? And all he is satisfactory, period. He affects the play calling because he doesn't. Does Cam have confidence in the game plan if he doesn't know what Joe he's going to get? So he affects play calling. We've been better coming down the stretch because we've been running the football. C for Joe Flacco.
Well, while we're talking, we might as well just delve into Joe right now, and we'll get to the other positions. The one thing, and I hate to say this in year 4, but I still almost feel like this year's an incomplete. Because here we have the Ravens, and we've talked about this a million times. They finally get more aggressive personnel, vertical guys down the football field. They throw in some tackles, some offensive linemen. But yet, as we know it, they try to expand the offense, get more aggressive. But early on, Grubbs out. Unable to help Bryant McKinney, who's a new left tackle. So you have a left tackle, you have Andre Gerard, who's not a guard. He's really a Pro Bowl center, filling in at left guard. So you've got that situation. Lee Evans was supposed to be the complementary vertical guy with Torrey Smith. He gets hurt. He's not there. It seems like we've never been able to actually see the kind of aggressive offense that Ozzie tried to put together. We never saw it in its whole this year, and we're not going to see it. So I almost feel like it's an incomplete with Joe to some extent.
Well, it may be an incomplete, too, because I don't think this offense has really developed an identity until lately. I mean, you look back at that Cincinnati Bengals game, and Vontae Leach is the guy who I think is the most important acquisition at this time during the season, December and January. Everybody keeps talking about it's a pass-happy league, got to be able to throw the ball. And maybe the Ravens got a little intoxicated with that idea. And that's not the way to go with this team. Their DNA is, we talked about it before, play good defense, manage field position, run the football, set up the play action. And I think that now they're starting to get into that. They should continue with it because if you look at Flacco's numbers against Cincinnati, if they had been a little bit more aggressive when they were ahead and started going for the jugular like we see other teams doing all the time, except the Ravens, but that's another argument.
If Lee Evans doesn't drop that ball, it might be a different story. So.
But he doesn't. So if he doesn't drop that ball, then the numbers change for Joe Flacco. If the arm barring didn't happen on Torrey Smith down the sideline, maybe the numbers change a little bit. But I think they struggled with identity. Now they're starting to find that, and I think right now is the perfect time to find your identity.
Yeah, and truthfully here, Joe should have a pretty easy job. We have one of the best players, offensive players in the NFL on our team. I mean, Ray Rice is that good. Sometimes, it's like we talked about this before. You're married, you have a beautiful wife. You forget how beautiful she is because she's your wife. You know what I mean? But because you see her every day, same old pack of crackers. You know what I mean? So.
I hope your wife doesn't watch this one.
Before I forget that line, I'm going to text Amy right
now. So sometimes
does Amy get a rebuttal to that?
She's not here.
She might say the same thing.
That's right. So it should be easy for Joe because Ray Rice is our beautiful wife, and we just can't forget how beautiful he is running the ball. So
same old pack of crackers.
Well, and guys, it's amazing this year. You look at the stats, and I printed them out here with Joe Flacco this year. Lowest completion percentage in 4 years at 57.6. The yards are right in the middle, but yards per throw, 6.6. That's the lowest as well. You take a look at this completion zone, roughly around where it was last year, but I mean, yet, at the end of the day, it's still 12-4. I don't think we've seen this offense be where it can be, again, because of the fact of injuries and such that played into it this year. So I guess we'll find out.
Well, you have some young guys too, and I think they try to get more vertical, and I think it'll spell benefits next year. You've got Dixon and Pitto, particularly Dixon getting vertical. Lee Evans will be back next year.
Maybe Laquan Williams develops more. Yeah, he's a vertical threat.
Maybe, but you got Torrey Smith with a year under his belt, and he's a kid that really learns a lot, and I think he's a quick study. So all those things I think will benefit the Ravens going forward.
And we talked about Torrey Smith early in the year. That you didn't really need to even cover this guy. I mean, that's how bad he looked early on, first couple of weeks. And now he's turned out to be one of the best rookies. He and A.J. Green, rookie wide receivers in the league. And I agree with you, Tony. I think going forward, Joe should have a better time. I mean, if we don't force him to throw the ball 50 times and we just let the game develop so that, we're running the ball and then the passing opportunities come, he'll be much better off just by playing the position.
All right, more coming up. More of our grades here on the Ravens Wrap Show on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio 93.5 The Beach. We'll be back. Keep it here.
G&G Outfitters, Inc. is a premier full-service in-house provider of branded merchandise and marketing solutions. With over 20 years of proven experience, G&G continues to successfully produce branded merchandise for some of the world's leading corporations, associations, and teams. From start to finish, G&G Outfitters is your single-source, one-stop partner for promotional products, logoed apparel, and all of your branded needs. For more info on the services and capabilities of G&G, visit ggoutfitters.com or call 301-731-2282.
Come see us at Blue Ox.
What's this all about?
We're giving Rich the NFL experience of a goal line dive.
Really?
There's an easier way to get an ultimate NFL fan experience. Just snap the tag wherever Bud Light is sold and you could win. Bud Light in the NFL. Here we go.
Did I make it?
On the internet, yes. Into the end zone, no.
Are you embarrassed to invite people to your home to watch your favorite football team? Well, don't worry, because you're not alone. FlyLady.net is the support you need. Join us and our more than 600,000 members and learn how to crush the clutter and game plan your way through routines that'll help you organize your home and your life. Tackle clutter and get your home game day ready with FlyLady.net.
A special playoff edition of the Ravens Wrap Show here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio 93.5 The Beach. Broadcasting from the Blue Ox, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City. Mike Bradley, Tony Lombardi, and John Garrett on the panel. Ravens 44 with us as always. All right, we're continuing to give out our end-of-season grades, so we spent an entire segment on quarterback. We're going to have to move along from that.
We should save that for last.
Yeah, probably so. But running back, I'm going to give it an A-. I mean, hey, where would we be without Ray Rice and of course, Vontae Leach? We talked about him in the last segment. And Ricky Williams, nice backup.
They've got a really good running attack going right now. They've got some rhythm, and Vontae Leach is really making his presence felt. I gave him an A- also, Mike. Not to be a copycat here, but I gave him an A- because I was borderline A, but I think that they're starting to develop a nice teamwork, he and Ray Rice. Earlier in the year, and you saw it in that sound effects following the 49ers game, right, that he wasn't following the blocks as well. He wasn't as patient, he being Ray Rice. Now you're finding that patience, and you're seeing big plays run off like against the Cincinnati Bengals, with one for 51 and one for 70 yards. So.
Yeah,
that's pretty exciting.
I give him A- only because I don't mind if he takes himself out of the game after a long run. If he crosses the goal line, all right. If he crosses the goal line, he can take himself out of the game.
By the way, over the last
so A-.
It's consistent.
Yeah. By the way, over the last 7 games, the Ravens' third most rushing yards in the NFL. So talking about in the last segment finding that balance and the right way for the offense, I think Cam Cameron certainly has done that with with Ray Rice in the running game. So A and fullback A, so we can move along from that. Wide receiver, I gave a C+. I mean, Torrey Smith, he had a very, very solid year for us. I mean, I think probably did better than what we were expecting. And where would we be without him, especially with Lee Evans being hurt most of the year? Anquan Bolden, a solid year. Again, not spectacular, but that may be because of the fact that we're a little bit more conservative than where Arizona was when he played with them.
Yeah, I mean, they're an inconsistent group. They're I think, more drops this year than I remember in past years. And Lee Evans really never materialized as a threat. Hopefully that'll change in the playoffs. Torrey Smith, I would think, outperformed what most people expected from him. And Anquan Bolden probably fell a little bit short. But one thing I always admire about Anquan Bolden is his willingness to just want to win, want to be on a winning team. And I think that shows in his blocking downfield during the running plays. But I'm going to go first on the next.
I will do that, yeah.
I also gave a C+ to the wide receivers.
I'm giving a little bit higher grade B-, mainly because I think Bolden made some plays. Torrey Smith is the reason they get a bump. I think he just we came here with drafting these wide receivers and have just had a tough time, and now it looks like we found one. So Lee Evans fell a little short with injury, but I'll give him benefit of the doubt.
We'll go back with you, and then we'll come back across. We get former tight end at Lehigh. Your assessment of Ed Dickson and Dennis Pitta?
I'll give them. I give these. They've come on a lot, so I'm going to give them a B. Just they've been good, but B for good. What can you say? They're not great blockers, pretty decent pass catchers.
But they haven't had the complement of an off-season of training in an NFL locker. I mean, because of the fact they were rookies and then with the lockout, they haven't had an off-season training regimen in the Ravens facility.
But this is why a guy like Heath Miller, even Gronkowski, is probably the best tight end I've ever seen, this guy Gronkowski, because he is a tight end. Being a tight end, you got to be good, and to be a good one, it's just not catching balls. You got to block, pancake people, seal the edge on the run plays. So I think Pitt probably has more of a likelihood to be that guy for the Ravens going forward. But I'll give him a B.
Well, I'm almost like what he said because I feel like the scarecrow, I gave him a B also, the tight ends, because I look at Dickson and Pitta and dial it back to August or earlier than that even, when the Ravens decided to let go of Todd Heap, a move that didn't go over very well in Baltimore and for all Ravens fans. And these guys have kind of made you forget about Heap a little bit. Yeah. Other than the chant out there, now it's Leach and Reed. Yeah. But other than the chant, I mean,
Lord knows Cam loves to throw Devontae Leach in the flats probably a little bit too much.
Yeah. But they they've made those guys. They've made the absence of Heap not an issue at all for this team. They need to improve as blockers, but I think the willingness and the team-first approach with those two guys is there, and I think that they will, so I gave them a B as well.
All right, we'll have to start to go rapid fire here. Defensive line and linebackers. Tony, we'll start with you.
What about our offensive line?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I missed
B-.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll give him a B.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Defensive line, linebackers?
Linebackers B+, defensive line B.
Any explanation?
Well, I don't think I had time.
You do. We got 60 seconds.
No, you go.
I pass. I'm watching these naked skiers. They're all women, by the way. Anyway.
They're just the old pack of crackers of somebody.
Well, yeah, right. Well, real quick, though, you take a look. Pernell McPhee, 6 sacks. Paul Kruger, I think, had 5.5. Haloti Ngata, 5. We talked about probably sack by committee opposite Terrell Suggs. We got 30 seconds. They got the job done there, so nice job.
Yeah, linebackers, I thought did a pretty good job here. The defensive line, I still think Haloti doesn't. I think he's inconsistent on the defensive line. I think he gets pushed around a lot by single blockers, and that should never happen.
All right, I think we can all grab. Secondary, we'll give B's and C's. Special teams, I'm giving a D, real quick.
C-.
Yeah, sure.
All right. More of the Ravens Wrap Show coming up next.
We're talking about kickers. Kickers.
Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.